Can we just start with something that's probably a bad idea, therefore we'll get it out of the way? Is that okay?
Excellent setup. Let's go for it.
There doesn't need to be a pretense. This is a god-awful basketball town, and most people don't know their elbow from their bleep hole when it comes to the sport at large. But let's do it. Cade Cunningham versus Jalen Green last night. And, I hate showdown games between rookies. I know why they do it. I know why they hype it that way. I respect that, right? I understand the entertainment game. But Pistons are 1-8, Rockets were 1-9. They're bad basketball teams. And if you're making these big judgments about rookies, 5 games in, 10 games in, you're just setting yourself up to look dumb. But this was a big thing, and this was a big controversy where you had this weird Jalen Green army in town, and people were upset. And no, you don't want Cade, you want Jalen. I was Cade Brigade. Not only because Hatchet brought him here through prayer and through the magic of religion, but because I think he's just a winning player. So here's what I wanted to do. For the 12 people who watched the 112-104 Pistons victory, I wanted to see if you're willing to come to an agreement on something. Now, Cade Cunningham last night, by no means was he somehow wonderful, but he put 20 on the board, contributes in multiple categories, but he's a winning player. Jalen Green is going to sell tickets. Okay? He's sizzle. He's a wildly athletic, modern NBA wing. Now, Roberto probably has better form on his jumper. And for those of you who watched Jalen Green last night and went, wow, look at all these three-pointers, I'd like to remind you, he was shooting 28% on the season from beyond the arc. Don't get carried away. Is Jalen Green going to be a guy who can win games? Yes. He will need lots of help because he's a splash player. Cade, a lot of the things he does, you don't recognize. Cade is going to win games. Let me give you an example. Now, last night, stripped the 20 points away. 8 of 18 shooting, don't hate it. 4 of 8 from deep, don't hate it. 7, 8, 9 times last night. Cade Cunningham probing the defense, getting the defense to collapse, finding the open man, and his bum teammates couldn't buy a shot. Cade last night on a decent team.
Didn't they miss 12 in a row at some point?
Anytime Cade passed to a teammate who was wide open, no shot that it went in. Cade could have easily had 10 assists on a halfway decent team. I think Cunningham is going to be a winning player. I'm not going to sit here and do who's better after 5 games, 8 games, 10 games, 20. I'm not. I think only now could you begin to have the discussion of Ja Morant, Zion. Multiple years in, availability concerns, physical health, performance, playoff appearances. I just want to know if are you totally comfortable with the way the Pistons went? I am. But I will tell you this, you're not going to unlock what Cade is really going to do for you besides the plus defense, besides being a floor general, besides being a good three-point shooter. You're not going to unlock the magic until you get some human beings on the court with him who can hit a jumper. Yeah. So I don't know, Reek. I thought now, hey, let's do a segment or two, open up with it, and just give people's take on it.
I mean, it's what I said back before the draft. When everybody was like, "Oh, Jalen Green," and I saw his highlights in the G League, it's like, guys, that's what he is. He is a highlight reel. He's going to have the spectacular dunks. You're going to see him on the ESPN top 10 every night doing some type of dunk, but he is not a guy that I think you win with. He is not a guy that you can becomes a centerpiece of a team. He's a guy that the crowd wants to go and see, but in the end, you don't win. It's that slow and steady thing. It's like in crosstalk. When you look at Cade Cunningham, not saying he's going to be this, but he's kind of like Chris Paul. Well, you know what you're going to get with Chris Paul. He's going to lead a team. He's going to give you assists. There's games he's going to shoot the ball well. He's not sexy, but it works. Whereas to me, I look at Jalen Green. And I think just modern day, I look at Miles Bridges with the Charlotte Hornets. And Miles every night has some spectacular dunk. It's all over social media. Oh my God, he did a 360 reverse tomahawk jam. Wow, look at that. He's exciting to watch. You ain't building a team around him. It's the sizzle. And for the Pistons, I don't even see how this is still a debate. I mean, at least right now, we'll wait to do the full thing. But
well, the debate's fun. That's one.
I liked what you got in Cade, and you're right. I mean, they missed, I think, 12 in a row.
It just bothered
early
me
in the game.
You know what I really liked?
No help.
I liked when he was mic'd up. I liked his interactions with Casey. I liked the maturity level. I like how he's able to see the floor. Look, I understand people want to say, and this is a big debate, is a year in college the same, less, or more than a year in the G League? And you have people on all sides of the argument. I feel like with Cade Cunningham, playing on a bad college team where it was all on him, it was completely on him. You learn how to involve your teammates. You learn how to rely on or not. And I think what you're going to see as time goes on. I know Cade got off to a terrible start. He missed some training camp. He had the ankle. But if we just look at last night as game one, and you look at what you got, I can see a pathway where Cade is Batman. And Jalen Green could be fabulous, but he's Robin. I don't know that Jalen Green, the way he plays, is going to be able to be the guy on a championship team.
No.
Now, let's wait and see 40 games, 80 games, 100 games. But I was always Team Cade. It's going to take a lot for me to feel like they made a mistake. I like the kid. I like the maturity. I like the physicality. I like that he's a plus defender. And I love a lot of last night. If you had halfway decent teammates, Rico, he would have went 20 and 10.
You know, the thing I liked, Mike, and it was probably a subtle thing, and maybe nobody else really realized it, but when Jalen did the move and he dunks the ball and he looks back and he yells at Cade, and Cade is like, yeah, counted for two. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to say? Like, he didn't engage in that.
No.
He just kind of looked at him like, dude, it's a dunk. We all can do that. We're in the NBA. We get paid to do that. You're not special.
I love the ability. Like you mentioned Chris Paul, right? Chris Paul never at any point in his career at Wake Forest, with the Hornets as a kid, or even now the later stages, he's never been a superior athlete, ever. But he can always probe the defense and he gets to a spot that he wants to get to. You watch Cade play. Cade is similar in that regard. He's a much bigger player.
Yeah.
But Cade was able to get where he wanted to go, have the defense collapse, find an open teammate, and then, of course, whatever homeless person the Pistons are starting can't hit a wide-open corner three. I mean, it's just – I just think, look, accept steak and not sizzle. And this town is built upon steak. The Pistons at their best have always been substance over style. So I think Cade is going to be a winning player. I like him. I'm comfortable with it. I'm happy they won the game. I'm happy that I supported Paul Serra's money line Pistons plus 140. And Cade played well. Because what I didn't want to do is take the air today. Told you we should have taken Jalen Green. I don't want to do those shows. It's boring to me. I think both are going to be nice players. You can, I mean, Jalen Green taking 11 3-pointers last night. That would drive me nuts.
You know why I think some people wanted Jalen Green in this town, Mike, is because this city is void of a superstar. And it has been for a long time.
Cade's going to be a superstar.
The best superstar you had was Matthew Stafford.
Right, but Cade's going to be a leader.
I
Cade's
understand.
going to be a face of a franchise type
But when
guy.
you look at other cities, you're like, well, L.A. has LeBron. And they got all these people. Look at New York and all these teams. And in this city, when you look at all the teams, I mean, even when you had Calvin Johnson, Calvin wasn't flashy. Calvin just went out there. Calvin played. You didn't have that over-the-top, look-at-me type of person. You've never had that. And it looked like, you know what? Maybe you get Jalen, and maybe we got a superstar that you will see in commercials, and you'll see doing Subway ads, and you'll see doing all of this stuff. Because I think Detroiters just want to feel relevant when it comes to sports. You know the teams are bad, but maybe you can get that individual player.
We're going to get to one of those teams later because I have a question. But let's at least attempt
Red Wings?
this. Oh, hell no. 248-539-9797. If you watched the game last night, Jalen Green, Cade Cunningham, just wanted to get your thoughts on it. And I'm giving you mine. I still think Jalen Green will sell tickets. He'll give you the highlights. Cade, and a lot of what he does, it doesn't show up in a stat sheet. And until this team starts to put decent players, not even stars, just capable human beings, I don't think you're fully going to unlock it. But I like the way he played last night, and I'm comfortable with it. I'm comfortable with the choice they made, and I'm willing to, all right, here's an 18-month runway. And we were going to give the same runway to Killian Hayes, but I'm struggling to maintain any patience.
I'm reserve my remarks till March, like I promised.
2-4. Why don't we just wait till January? 248-539-9797. Because I'm not waiting till March at this point.
As I told you pre-show, if he was on the Detroit Cruise or Drive or whatever that G League team is, he wouldn't be the leading scorer.